are so many awful reasons to be here in sunny Florida.
We're actually here for a conference, and we're taking just a few minutes away from the hustle and bustle to talk to you about menstrual discs.
Menstrual discs, not cups.
Yes.
Big difference.
If you've tried a menstrual disc, it is not the same as having tried a menstrual cup.
It is. The only thing that they do the same is that they catch flow. Other than that, it is 100% different.
So we get a lot of feedback, either in person or online, just saying, oh, well, I tried a menstrual cup and it didn't work for me. And then we realized they were talking about an Instead or SoftCup.
And that may be the brand you're most familiar with. And also newer to the market is the Flex. So this is a menstrual disc. I honestly don't know what this is made of. And this is just like a crinkly baggie. It comes in this little disposable pouch. And the idea is that when it's time to dispose of this, you can put it back in the pouch, throw it in the garbage. Now this looks massive, especially if you're unfamiliar with it but know what a menstrual cup is. This does not go in the same way as a menstrual cup. So a menstrual cup, if this was a menstrual cup, you would like fold this thing in half and then squish it up like this, and then that's just not going to work.
Yeah, you would not.
That's not how these go in.
In your vagina.
No. So the way these go in is you would squish it, so it's long and thin, sort of like a tampon. It sits long ways in the vaginal canal, tilt it behind the cervix so that it can catch the flow, and tilt it up behind the pubic bone, and it will secure it. And along with that, I will say it sounds really uncomfortable, and insertion was like, but once it was there, it was definitely comfortable.
Right. And for reference, we the biggest difference is that this just sits in the vaginal canal and this is tilted.
Right.
You know, you have a different placement. And
blood tray.
Blood drawer is what I think you've called it before. Blood drawer.
So the way this comes out is it's horizontal, like level with your toilet. You're sitting down and it kind of comes out just like this, and you just take your finger and you pull it out. But while this does do that, it doesn't do it inside you. So it's all squished and it comes out like this, and this whole surface is going to be covered in flow.
So Amanda and I decided to try menstrual discs. It was my first time using one, but
I have tried a disc before. It's been many years, and I wanted to have a refresh just to say I gave it a fair shot. So
I actually didn't have any leaks. And
I did not have any leaks either.
Fine with that. And it stayed in place.
When wearing it, it did. It stayed in place, and it was extremely comfortable. I didn't feel it. There was no pressure. I didn't have any problem peeing. Like, there was no problem wearing it.
Right.
I would say, like, I mean, it slid in easily. That wasn't a problem. Getting it behind my cervix was not a problem. But, like, I was really, like, pushing and pushing and pushing, making sure that I was up behind my pubic bone. It was much more involved to get in.
I assume just like with a cup, you would get better
I would imagine I would get better at it. I actually found it painful to remove because, I mean, as it comes out, it wants to open back up some, and I found it very uncomfortable, in addition to the mess. I did not like it.
So, from my experience, I had trouble doing that nice little, oh, this is so easy because there's no blood in the animation, which, I mean, fair enough is also for menstrual cups. If you see an animation of a menstrual cup, it's like, oh, you just pull it out, everything's fine. I mean, it can be messy, especially when you're new. So I know there's a learning curve on all fronts, but my removal was more difficult. I actually ended up having to use my thumb as well and reach in as it was inside and pull because I could not hook. It was just not working for me. So here I am, two fingers deep, pulling this down, and it was the blood. I don't know how I did it, but the blood was just like all over my fingers.
I was able to use my middle finger to kind of grasp it, and then, like, because it's coming out, like, I was able to take these and sort of pinch a little bit to help with the widening, but I still found it really uncomfortable.
That you can have penetrative intercourse while wearing something like this menstrual disc, but you cannot really, you kind of can.
Some people do. I have not.
Don't watch this, my husband. And not with a cup this long, but depends on where your cervix is and what you want to do. That would be true. So it's not something most people can do, but this is like 100%. You could do that.
You absolutely can with this. Can we go into how they originally marketed this and
We-
why we were so put off?
We can say that. I think so.
Yeah, I think we can too. This is our channel. Originally, when Flex came out, they were marketing the message of, well, now you can have sex on your period. Now it can be mess-free for your partner. And I was like, fuck him. Fuck that.
Initially, the marketing was just use this when you're on your period to have sex, not use
Right.
this as period protection.
At least that's the message we got. That may not have been their intent.
But that's exactly
But that's
how
what
it
we
read.
got.
And that was when we were getting some early marketing before they really launched.
Right. We have noticed that since then their message has changed. The packaging, it's gorgeous. I mean, it's so beautiful. Like, you could actually set it out and, like, I mean, if it was on your counter, I wouldn't be like, you know. It's really, it's
pretty.
nice.
Yeah.
They're entirely different product. I'm not saying don't try it, but don't try it expecting that it's going to be anything like a menstrual cup. And I don't think we've said yet, but these are not meant to be reusable. They are meant to be single use.
And speaking of waste, if this is why you want a reusable menstrual product, this is not for you.
Right. Yeah, this is not going to help
far
save
more
the earth.
wasteful, and it's also far more expensive. I mean, a menstrual cup is a one-time purchase, and we are partial, but we
Right.
find that menstrual cups are just superior as a product, comfort-wise, money savings-wise, sustainability. You know, all of those things. If you can use a cup, use a cup. I know this sounds like a very negative video. It just didn't work well for us.
I agree.
And it's not because we love cups so much. Like, we went into this, I think, with a fair open mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
After seeing that they changed their marketing, we were like, okay, let's give this a try. Because they are shifting away from that unsavory marketing that they initially did. Let's give it a try.
This is something we get asked about a lot, and so we wanted to share our experience and share our perspective on it. And, you know, I would just want you to have your eyes open and recognize that there are definite shortcomings over, say, a traditional menstrual cup versus a disc, in my opinion, and in Kim's.
But tell us if you love it.
Yeah, I mean, we would definitely like to hear what you love about it. If you do, those are things that
Or
would be
why this
helpful.
works better for you than a menstrual cup. I think I would be really
Yeah,
interested
most
to know
especially
that.
if you have tried both. That would be very, very interesting.
So that's it. Make sure you like
Comment.
and subscribe to our channel for more.
Thank you.